There are a few winners in a divorce, unless you count the lawyers. But now a new platform is helping families split without big legal bills or even stepping foot inside a courtroom. This is how it works.
As a proud dad of 3 boys, Patrick Cow isn't living the life he imagined. He split from his wife 3 years ago, and although their marriage broke down, he was terrified of the thought of destroying his family in court.
I don't want to do the crush, kill, destroy approach. My intention is to come to an agreement that will take into consideration the health and welfare of 3 young people.
When he sat down with lawyers to map out his separation, Patrick says he instantly knew they weren't for him.
It's very easy to take advantage of someone who's in that vulnerable space. They're not thinking straight, they're not able to make informed decisions.
Barely able to make sense of the legal jargon, Patrick says one thing was clear from the start.
Our fees are between $75,000 and $130,000, and I just went, wow. At the end of the day, if I go down this road, my children won't have anything. And all I've done is just paid for someone's latest BMW. I realised I'd made a mistake by wanting to engage a law firm to resolve my situation.
When my husband and I separated, it was a very stressful time with the family.
Lisa France and her husband were determined to keep things amicable and out of the courts.
And we really wanted to avoid going through family court. We'd heard a lot of horror stories and wanted to be able to do this ourselves on our own terms and at a time that suited us.
Lisa says they fumbled their way through the legal loopholes, mostly on their own, but not without paying for it.
Even if you can do it yourself and use a minimum amount of legal input, you're still looking at about $10,000 plus.
Tracy McMillan of Forge Legal says since the surge of COVID, the number of people wanting a divorce has risen by 30%.
We're actually turning away about 60% of people solely because they can't afford lawyers at the moment. So they're just not able to actually invest those money into representation.
As a lawyer, Tracy isn't proud of the financial burden families face, knowing so often parents can have limited access to their children while they wait for the court proceedings to be finalised.
If anybody could get through the family court these days with change out of $100,000, then it's like striking rich and winning the lotto. It's not uncommon for people to actually end up paying about $300,000 in legal fees when going through the court process.
Last year, 49,116 divorces were granted in Australia. If each couple paid up to $100,000, that's more than $4.9 billion in legal and court fees. And that price tag doesn't include someone's time or the emotional toll of a divorce. Tracy has spent the past 4 years developing a new strategy to make the system fairer.
We've created a unique platform for people to be able to represent themselves with putting it into basic user language so that the person who is not a lawyer can actually represent themselves.
The No Lawyers platform offers limited legal advice regarding your rights and entitlements. But it allows you to create agreements like your own shared parenting schedule, making the online service suited to amicable separations.
At the end, if they come to an agreement, they can press a button and it will generate a legally worded document so that all they have to do is print it out and send it off to the court. It's meant to be as simple as that.
Out of pocket almost $10,000 for her divorce, Lisa can only wish she had this simplified support and guidance.
So the fact that there's now a platform that steps you through this is going to make life so much easier for people that unfortunately are in this situation. There's definitely a place for lawyers to be involved in working out the details. Not every couple is going to be able to move through a separation amicably.
Patrick is halfway through the No Lawyers process and feels confident of coming to a successful settlement.
It provides information in a context that most people will understand. It just maps out the process in a much more simpler way prior to any sort of court action.
In my opinion, I'd rather see people actually putting that money back into their own families and being able to focus on moving forward instead of being bogged down in what can be a horrendous experience in the family court at times.
There's more on that story and the No Lawyers platform on our website.